Hello and welcome everybody to the VooPlayer Q&A weekly webinar call. We're going to get started here in just 1 minute, but before we do, if anybody would be kind enough to confirm that you can both hear my voice as well as see my screen, which should now show the chat room, and then we can get started. We got a confirmation from Dean as usual. I'll just take that as a positive that we can proceed as all conditions have been met. Screen and sound are great. Greetings from San Francisco from Steven. Hello, Steven. All right, cool. So VooPlayer Q&A weekly webinar call. My name is Peter. I'm VooPlayer's product manager, and we're holding these calls in order to answer any questions that you as users may have, provide any training on advanced use cases of video in your business, or advanced utilization of any features, or covering any advanced scenarios which you are trying to accomplish. Also, to showcase new stuff that we've been working on so that you can continue to get more and more value out of VooPlayer, and ultimately really to collect, organize, and prioritize any feedback, ideas, criticisms, suggestions, etc. on how we can continue improving VooPlayer to make it even better in the future. All right, so that's the gist of it. The format of the webinar is pretty straightforward. So at any time that you have a question, or if you came prepared with any questions, now will be a good time to drop them in the chat box, and then we'll just answer them in the order that they come in. First come, first served basis. All right, cool. So if you are unable to attend any of these webinars, weekly replays are available both on our YouTube channel, link to which is youtube.com/c/VooPlayer, as well as on our Facebook group, which is facebook.com/groups/VooPlayer. And aside just from webinar replays, those groups and channels are a great resource to participate in the community and get feedback on your videos and how you can improve them, as well as suggestions from other VooPlayer users on how they are utilizing VooPlayer. So if you haven't subscribed to that channel and joined that Facebook group, do encourage you to do so. Also, as I mentioned, since VooPlayer is highly user-driven, customer-driven product, and those ideas, suggestions, and feedback that helps us improve VooPlayer are really what's driving our efforts. There is a nifty ideas board / product board on inside of your application. So if you come over here on documentation and support and click on submit and vote on ideas, there you will see a list of stuff that we are currently working on, stuff that we are considering working on, and all of this is requests for features, modules, requests for integrations from users, and then when enough feedback piles up on a particular request that we feel that it's gathered enough momentum and we've recognized significant value in developing that, then we move that from considering to being worked on and fitted somewhere on our roadmap. And also you can see the stuff that's been recently launched so that you are up to date always. If you're unable to attend the webinars or watch the replays, as they tend to be somewhat lengthy, you can just come over here and check out what's going on. And ultimately, as I mentioned, you have that button up on the top right, which is the whole idea of it, is to submit your ideas and indicate how important they are to you, so that helps us prioritize those ideas. And as I mentioned, that's available directly from the application menu, main menu, but I'll just share the link directly to that as well. All right, cool. That's all of the housekeeping stuff. Just one quick announcement. I've covered this throughout the last couple of webinars, but finally, we are proud, happy, and other positive, happy, good feelings to be fully supported on Embedly. So Embedly, for those not familiar with it, is a tool used by give me 1 second just to mute the baby microphone speaker thingy. So Embedly is a third-party platform solution that a lot of content publishers, news outlets, etc., our social networks are using for embedding content, and we are now fully supported. So that what that means is that you can come to VooPlayer and grab your share link, and you've seen wherever you publish video, you've seen an input such as this. So you just paste the link and press enter, and that returns the video player back in that content. So now that we're fully supported, you can leverage that in a lot of different tools like WordPress theme builders that have that insert link option, or et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So long story short, now we're supported on Embedly, which is a platform that a lot of people are using. So hopefully, if there's been places, and the big benefit of this is that not a lot of platforms allow you to enter in your own custom code, like edit the HTML, especially add script elements, etc. So you need to go through sort of a white labeling process with the providers for embedding that they're using, and Embedly is the largest one of them. So we're glad to finally be whitelisted on Embedly as a video embedding provider. So I will draft some sort of an announcement, maybe a YouTube video around that, just to showboat. All right, cool. Let's see if we can answer some questions now. Rick is saying, can Voo play random videos within a group of videos? Can Voo play videos by date order? Explain playlists. Let me remember quickly by looking at playlists. I don't know if playlist has a shuffle option. I don't believe it does. Maybe it does. Settings. Allow skipping videos. Don't autoplay next video. Slide the playlist on load. Mobile playlist position. Yeah, playlists don't have a shuffle option per se. So neither can you play random videos within a group, nor can you play videos by date order. The only solution for that would be through playlists, and I envision that more or less being something like a shuffle option where you can add all of the videos you want to that particular list, and then you can just turn on shuffle, and then it will just take a random one at order. So if that's kind of what the idea is behind this, I think shuffle option on the playlist might be feedback that's definitely worth considering for us. Let me just make a note of that, because that's a solid idea to be considered if other users also have benefit from that. So let me just note that. So that's webinar request. Let me just note that feedback. All right, cool. Thanks. Good morning to David. Rick is saying each white labeled sub account can get its own CNAME domain. Does CNAME domain hide third-party hybrid video domain name? Each white label sub account cannot get its CNAME domain. So only the master account can provide a CNAME mask to VooPlayer. So to dive a little bit deeper into this, as I think this is a frequent topic on the webinar, so a lot of people are probably familiar with it. But for those who are not, there is a module inside of VooPlayer that allows you to white label VooPlayer as something else, as for example Peter Player, by changing the logo, appearance, colors, and even domain name of the application. So I can't remember what was mine. Test dot. Maybe I'm not saying this is going to work, but it might if I remember it correctly. Yeah. So this is I think my test domain. So for example, this basically masks the entire VooPlayer application, and it's going to just behave as a complete VooPlayer application without any one being any wiser that it's a VooPlayer application. So why would you want to do that? Because you might want to resell VooPlayer to your own clients if you're an agency, or you just want to resell it to other video marketer enthusiasts. So in that, you can kind of white label this entire solution. So Rick's question was, can each sub account, so here I have two sub accounts, one is test@test.com and the other one is test2@test. So can each one of them provide their own CNAME to master the domain as I did as a master account? Only use the platform to use it as the master account. So each individual sub does not have the capacity to customize it as their own. They're using their own domains. All right, so let me see what else do we have there. The CNAME domain hide third-party hybrid. The CNAME domain hide the third-party hybrid video domain name. Does the CNAME domain hide the third-party hybrid video domain name? Oh, I got it. No, it doesn't. So if you have, let me just check on something because two. So I just switched my network in hopes of establishing a bit of a better connection. So hopefully you're not hearing any more audios breaking up. So I was just answering the question with regards to, does the CNAME domain hide the third-party hybrid video domain name? Answer to which is no, it doesn't. So under no circumstance are we able to mask the, so for example, if you import a YouTube link inside of a VooPlayer or a video that's hosted on Dropbox or Google Drive or whatever, we're never masking those because those can't be masked. For you to mask a domain, you need the one who's the masker to accept that masking, as well as the maskee to accept that masking. So YouTube, Dropbox, and all of them would have to accept us masking them, which is not likely to happen. So if you are using third-party hybrid hosting, those links can never be masked. Keep in mind, so keep in mind, Rick, that for a lot of these, I don't know which YouTube. So for example, you just mentioned YouTube live stream. So what happens when you actually get a YouTube? Let's take a look at this. I think this is going to be somewhat interesting for a lot of folks on this call to dive a little bit deeper into what's going on under the hub. So let me just grab one of the YouTube videos. So let's grab the webinar link from last week. And so here we have that standard link, which is YouTube let me just pause that, which is youtube.com/c/watch and the video ID. So what happens, I come over here and I say, hey, I want to import this link inside of WooPlayer. And that worked, so that's great. And I'll give it a name, just a test YouTube video, just to kind of demonstrate what happens with a lot of third-party links. So this happens with links from, I'm just going to do a demo with YouTube, but this also happens for links from Vimeo, from Facebook, from Google Drive, etc., etc., etc. So here we have that video, and it's playing inside of WooPlayer, and all of that is well. So I'm just going to save it, and then we can come over here to watch it. So when we're watching this video, the question that's on everybody's mind is what's happening to the source of that video? Is that YouTube link visible to everybody? So if I come over here to kind of try and dig a little bit deeper, trying to find out where that video is coming from, I will not get that YouTube link that I originally imported into WooPlayer. Instead of that, I will get a link not to the YouTube page, but directly to the source of that video. So that link is a bunch of numbers and letters, .googlevideo.com/video playback. And then you will notice some things like expire, reference, additional parameters for the authentication of that. So for example, if I grab this link and paste it in a new tab, I'll go directly to the source of that that video. So I'm no longer even I'm going to start sort of bypassing YouTube, and I'm going directly to the source material for that video. So if a user, for example, gets a hold of this, they are able to do something like Control S, and that will save that video locally on their machine. However, if they take this link and they share it with somebody else after, I don't know what the expiration period is, but after whatever that is, I think that's a Unix timestamp, which can be, we can look at it, but you get the idea. After a certain while, this link no longer becomes valid, and from that point on, you're no longer able to access it via link. But as far as content security goes, even though you're not getting the original link to the YouTube video, someone is still able to access it and then download it, which kind of beats the purpose of trying to hide that URL. All right, cool. Let's see where we are. We got some new questions. Let me just scroll back to where we were. David is saying, is it possible to preserve file name during upload process? Good question, David. So is it possible? Short answer would be no. Long answer is I think I have an idea why you're asking that. Because when you upload stuff to WooPlayer, so for example, this could have been video1.mp4 locally for me, and then I uploaded it here, and then it became something completely different. So if I come over here and look at my files, I'll get a bunch of files with different numbers and extensions that are not all that meaningful to me, and I'm having a hard time understanding which file is coming from which video, even though I have an indication on, hey, these files are used on some videos, but it takes me a while to go through all of them to find exactly the file that I want to maybe download from WooPlayer and then be utilized somewhere else or manipulate it in some other way. So we're not able to, as mentioned, short answer, we're not able to preserve the original name of the file that you are uploading. However, one of the enhancements that we are working on that's addressing the problem which I've just outlined, I don't know if that's the issue that you're facing with, is that here on the dashboard, I think within this week, we're going to have another button here So next to this link and next to this pencil, there's going to be 3 little dots, and you can click on that, and that's going to open up some. This is going to open up what we're calling now a quick actions menu, which is going to allow you to get some quick actions on the file, such as get the share link, etc., as well as show some of the file info, such as how much storage this file is occupying, what are the additional resolutions for it, grab the download link for it, etc. So you're going to be able to directly from the dashboard, wherever you are able to identify a video, there's going to be a little additional menu here, which is going to allow you to access the source material that was originally uploaded. I think that goes some ways in addressing the issue which I outlined, and I'm not sure if that's the problem you're facing, but if it is, hopefully that will help. I just wanted to see if David followed up with something. No, but David, just let me know if I kind of if I was at least close on addressing what you were trying to solve. Roger is saying you using RVE plugin requires iframe shortcode. How do I do this within VooPlayer? Iframe shortcode. Roger, unfortunately, I'm not that familiar with the ARVE plugin, whatever it is. I'm assuming shortcode, so something for WordPress probably. Best recommendation that I have at this time is just contact us at support@vooplayer.com and provide us with temporary admin access to the WordPress installation, which has that plugin installed, and then we can figure out if we can get VooPlayer in it. I'm not sure what an iframe shortcode is. Probably some sort of an internal labeling system for that plugin. Rick is saying, can VooPlayer connect to /play a YouTube live stream? Yes, it can. So YouTube live, I don't remember what was the link to that. YouTube live dashboard. So we'll just grab one of the links for a currently live stream, if it will open. Oh no, this is for myself to go live. We don't want to do that. There used to be here on YouTube somewhere like a button where you can see show more, where you can see live videos. I don't know how to access that anymore. YouTube live streams. Maybe. Oh, there we go. All right, this is what I wanted. So, for example, if we get the E3 stream, so this is going live right now from E3, and we want to get that inside of VooPlayer. We can just come over here to new video URL, same as I did with the video, which was just uploaded to VooPlayer, and then we can see that we have the E3 direct link imported in VooPlayer. So as the event is streaming to E3, it should also be streaming to VooPlayer. Let me just double check just to make sure that is working as intended. So let me just come over here to watch this video, and if we hit on play, that we can see that that's working as expected. Keep in mind though, all of the videos which are live streaming on YouTube need to go through the YouTube player, which means that it's going to have related videos and channel branding and all of that stuff is going to be present on those videos. Rick. Louis is saying, in a customized account, if you add an image URL, it is still given a VooPlayer URL. in a customized account, so a white label master account, I'm assuming. If you add an image URL, it is still given a WooPlayer URL. That sounds highly unlikely. Louis, if you could hit us up at support@woolplayer.com with an example of that, because that would be a bug. I mean, if you enter a URL, we're just using that URL. We're not doing anything additional to that image. I'm assuming you're referring to the image for the logo of the white labeled player. That if you enter an image URL, nothing further is happening with that. So Rick is saying, instead of play once, would you update Vue to play 1 to 3 times per IP address per email or per phone number login? Yeah, see, so here's the thing about that. So as some of you may know, some may not, there is an option under advanced options which currently can only be turned on or off. And if turned on, limit once per viewer, allows one machine, one browser, one machine to only watch one video once. So what that means is if I load this video the first time, it will play, and the second time I load it, it will say you're only allowed to watch this video once. So Rick's question is, can this be more configurable? And the thing is, making adjustments to these sort of configurations is somewhat difficult, in that now you might want it to play 3 times and you might want to restrict it by IP address, but another person might want it to only play 2 times and they want to restrict it by cookie, and the third person might want to have it play 5 times but only restricted by password, etc., etc., etc. So we're kind of leaving those restrictions of access really to your discretion at limiting the page on which you're embedding the video. So we're trying to avoid any access rights management of videos away from us. So we're trying to do as minimal as approach as we can into facilitating some basic access management functions. And whenever we get into more complex scenarios, like hey, I want it to be configurable how many times a video can be watched by a specific IP address, we kind of stay away from that, because those kind of restrictions are something that can lead not only to a lot of complicated scenarios for testing and for facilitating that, but also require a lot of additional, why did I turn that on? I didn't want that. But also require a lot of additional code, which needs to be present in everybody's players, which means that everybody. So if we facilitated the logic for configurable, everybody's WooPlayer would load a bit slower because of that additional code. So that's why we kind of do minimal approach on a lot of features that we have inside of WooPlayer, rather than having large encompassing solutions. And sort of access management and validation of those accesses is something that's really difficult. Any WooPlayer integrations with an ad server? Yes, absolutely. So WooPlayer. So here, where do we have that? I think that's currently under beta. So if you have WooPlayer features open here, you can turn on the beta features here by show beta features, hide beta features. And in there, I believe you have the VAST feed. So you can either provide the feed from an ad server by the XML of the feed, or you can just provide the the direct URL to the feed. I don't have one handy right now to test with, but if you have one and you want to test with it, you're more than welcome to do it via that features. If it's not working, send us the link to that, and we'll gladly help you figure it out, Rick. Send it to us at support@woolplayer.com, as I should have mentioned. Roger is saying advanced responsive video embedder. Gotcha. All right, cool. Will do. David is saying, can you share more about the personalization feature? We'll gladly do that. Lewis, I'll circle back to David because it's a big question. I just want to address what do we have here. This is about the thumbnail poster, but you haven't provided a link here, Lewis. You've entered. What I've understood you did was you had this image hosted somewhere else, and then you pasted a link here. What you did here was you uploaded the link. You uploaded the image to our hosting server, which is why it will indeed have that. Worth pointing out that also should not be feasible, so that a sub account can see the Wool Player link. But I see what you're referring to. The only solution that we have, let me just go back to this screenshot. The only solution that we have for situations like this. So, for example, if you upload a file as a sub account, you will see Wool Player mentioned in the hosting of that file, the path for that URL. So the only solution that we have for features such as this, and this is something that we've obviously missed and that we need to rectify, is to turn off the upload option, only allowing people to utilize direct links, meaning that they would need to find the hosting for that image and then enter it in. As currently we can't figure out a sustainable method in which we can provide masking to that URL. Stephen is also saying limiting play by time frame, say 1 week, might be useful for premium content. Is that feasible? Limiting play by time frame, say 1 week, might be useful. I get what you mean. So set the expiration of the cookie set the time in which the cookie expires, which would allow you. So if a cookie expires for the particular video which you watched, then after a week you can watch it again. That's feasible, but then again, it goes into that customization that we're not that willing to go into. I've noted 2 points of feedback on this right now, so if more rolls in, we'll add it to the ideas board, and then we can get to that. All right, so I'll circle back to David's question, and we'll wrap it up with that. So can you share more about the personalization feature? So that's a really extensive question, but I'll try to answer it I don't know if I have any integrations connected to my account, which will help me illustrate that. Let me. I'm thinking in my head. Do I have enough time to go through this? All right. So I have some integrations which I can test with. All right. Cool. So the personalization feature. So before I get into this, I'll just share this article, which personalization, which will probably cover a lot of the details, which I'm not able to do in this short of a time. And there's a nifty video which kind of explains it all. So David, do certainly check out this link for more details. But in a nutshell, so I have a video and I want to offer some sort of personalized content in that video, meaning that I want to show custom images or text or links or what have you within this video, which are customized for each viewer. So there are two main ways in which you can approach that within WooPlayer. One is either by connecting some sort of a CRM or a webhook or any kind of an integration which is able to feed us that data. So for in this example, I'll just quickly create a quick annotation here with an image, and we'll use this. I think this is the template which was used in the video. So here it says like what you see, and I want to customize that. So I'll just leave that as is, and then I'll come over here to settings, and I'll turn on personalized data, and I'll select my intercom integration, and I'll need a sample email which will get the data from that integration. So we'll just test the integration, double check that it's good. So that's all of the data which I got from it, and I'll just confirm. So when we come back now to this, where do I have that? When we come back to this overlay now, now I can start adding some cool things here. So here in the headline, which says like what you see, I can say hi, and then here I can add, do we have first name, name? We have name. So here I can add name, and if no value, then I can use the fallback there. And then for example, for the image, if the image is not available, so I'll use that as the fallback. But let's see, I think there's an avatar there. Avatar image URL, and this will be the fallback. So I can use that. So for example, now I can save this video and save it, and I can come here to watch it. So if I just come to watch it like this, it's not going to be personalized in any way. It's just going to have those fallback values. So it doesn't have the first name, and it doesn't have my image in here. So I need to pass along that contact personalized for equal sign. I need to copy and paste an equal sign because as some of you may know, water spilled on my keyboard recently. Mike at gmail.com. So if I identified a viewer that's watching that video, no longer am I getting just the generic content, but now I am getting the content for that user, which is coming from my CRM. So shortly, that's how you can provide personalized information for, and you can do that. You can add customization for that within the URLs, and you can send them to custom pages, etc., etc., etc. As I mentioned, that article goes into a little bit more detail. So the first way you can do this is by connecting a CRM, and then identifying, tagging the content that you want, and then identifying the viewer. And you not only can you do that via this query string, you can also do that by WooPlayer. I think it's called WooPlayer Contact Cookie, and some other ways, but that's that in the nutshell. So that's the first way. And the second way in which you can do that is by providing this information for these tags via the query string. So where we had, so here you just provide the contact, but otherwise you can fill in those values by doing first name equals something and image equals something, etc., etc., etc. So in that sense, you don't need a CRM connected, as you can feed all of the data points through the URL structure. So that's another way in which you can offer personalization. And then, as I mentioned, you can utilize all of those values within any content inside of WooPlayer, not strictly restricted to this sort of overlay. So hopefully that kind of explains that. All right, cool. We're way over time. Hopefully that answered your question, David. If you go through that article that I sent on personalization and you still are confused about achieving anything that you want, just send us an email at support@woolplayer.com or contact us through our live chat box in the application, which is also the advice that I give to anybody else on the call if we didn't get to your question. Looking forward to answering those within the following week. And looking forward to seeing you guys next week as well when we continue improving Wool Player. And until such time, I wish you a happy remainder of your week. Bye.